Hello everybody, this is Lehman Crafton Jr., aka Zorvalchan Less Than Guru, and today I have a special day 7 of my character creation challenge, 31-day character creation challenge. I teamed up with Ulysses Spiel and got permission to show the creation of an actual official archetype for the upcoming Orrorsh wave crowdfunding that starts, should be tomorrow. I'll post this on Monday the 25th. The crowdfunding comes out on the 26th, and you will actually have a archetype that you could use. Now, I will give a warning that things may change up until the final sourcebook edition is released. There's always a chance that various rules and things change, so that might be something that happens, but you'll at least see how the first draft, and maybe the last draft, depending on if anything needs to be changed, is done. So the archetype that I'm doing is the Resourceful Alchemist, and this is a character that I put in the art order for, and I was very happy. When I say art order, it's basically I say this is kind of what I want, and then I let the artist figure out what they're going to do, and I was very, very happy with the art that came out with this. So I don't know how long it's going to take, so if you stay with me the entire time, it might be really long, it might be short, depends on how inspired I am today, and if I get any writer's block or anything like that. And I do try to make well-rounded archetypes. I don't necessarily min-max and push every point to get absolute optimization. I want a character that appeals to people and not just like a one-trick pony type character. So, having said that, here's the archetype, the Resourceful Alchemist, so that's what I'm going for. And the first thing I kind of do is I pull up an old archetype. So this was a Tharkold archetype that I did, and I have it highlighted for the whole archetype, and I copy and paste it to a new Word document. So I'm just going to paste it, and I'll tell you why. Because these archetypes are going to be a front and a back. The front's going to show the stats, and the back is going to show history and background and things like that. And if I write too much, it's going to overflow, and that's not that. You have to have the archetype has to be on one piece of paper, front and back. And if I do too little, then there's going to be a lot of white space. So I really have to watch word count, and that's something that you might not realize takes into account is figuring out the word count and everything about it. So this one I had done was the Abomination Thug of Tharkold, and but now we're not doing that. We're doing the Resourceful Alchemist. Now, when this was given to me, the character, the Tharkold Abomination Thug, had not been fully done as the picture, and I kind of got it when there was just a sketch, and that's what I went off of. Now I actually got the full picture here of the Resourceful Alchemist, so I don't have to have that description or the picture because I already know what that's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I will get that blown up. We're not doing Tharkold anymore. We're doing Orrorsh, and this is the Resourceful Alchemist. And then his name was Maxim Bukov, so I want to get rid of that. And when I was doing Tharkold, it was easy for Russian names because I've visited Russia a lot. But if I'm making an archetype for an area that I'm not quite sure about names, well, I use Google, and I already went ahead and I got a baby name to come up with a name. So I can just kind of go through this, and these are Hindi names, and just kind of go through, and the main archetype is female. So sorry about those. I was trying to get those off, and it wasn't really working. So I like this name. It looks kind of cool, Abarain. So let's have the first name of this be Abarain. Whoops. Let's make sure I spelt that right. Oh, 2 R's, 1 N. Okay, 1 B. Okay, and then I have another page, which is last names. So I like this Tuari. And I can see that the cast is a Brahmin, which is the kind of philosopher priest class. So I'll go ahead and use that. So this will be the main character's name. Let's paste that correctly. Okay, so I don't need any of this because this was just to kind of tell me what I needed for the Tharkold when I was doing that. But again, I have this photo and everything to go off of. So attributes. Now, one thing I do know is with being the resourceful alchemist, I'm going to need a high mind. So the first thing, I'm just going to get rid of any of these things here. And I got 40 points to spend. So I want her mind to be good. So I'm at least going to start off with, say, a 10. And I might adjust it. Like I said, you're seeing everything that I go through, so sometimes I put what I consider base attribute numbers, and then I tweak things as needed. Doesn't really need much strength, so let's go 6 strength. Dex, I don't want to go horrible, but I don't think I need very good. So let's just start at 7 here. I want a decent spirit also. And so what do I have? I have 16, 26, 33, so that could leave charisma of 7. So let me just, once again, just try to make sure. 14, 20, 30, 40. So there's my 40 points. So for now, I think that would be pretty decent. Again, I don't necessarily push everything as far as I can. I try to balance some things out, and I didn't want for this character here, I didn't necessarily want charisma to be a dump stat. So I think that works. I want her to be able to talk to people and learn and do things like that. So the dexterity of 7, that translates right across. Run, that translates. Right now, the toughness is only going to be 6, and so far no armor. So let me go ahead and take off that. So then combat skills. So the one thing I do know about the alchemy is there's a few of these that you use alchemist vials, potions as bombs. So I do want to give her a missile skill. Missile weapons. So let's try missile weapons. And then with her spirit being high, so missile weapons right now with a +2 based off of dexterity would be 9. And then intimidation of 2 sounds good with the spirit, so that's a 12. So I can just leave that here. Now, basically, I'm going to have reality at some point, at least one point. But I've already done 4 of my 16 points. Now, to get the actual alchemist perk, which would absolutely be mind-blowing if I didn't take it, a resourceful alchemist needs the alchemist perk. So that has a requirement a prerequisite of three in science. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I got that 3, and I don't have to worry about anything else. So with the mind, that's going to be 13. The next thing I need is I know I need a reality, and I'm going to put a 2 in there. The spirit's pretty high, so it's going to be a 12. It's not her main thing, but I do want to be able to have her stay connected, or at least reconnect fast, be able to soak some wounds with the low strength. So I think a reality of 2 would fit rather well. So if I'm looking at this right now, I got 2, 4, 6, 9 points. Being an alchemist, I do want scholar, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and cut and put it over here, because things go in alphabetical order. So scholar would come after science. So let's do scholar at a +2. With the mind is also going to be a 12. And then I just open up my book to page 79 that has all of the skills. And I kind of just want to look down to see what might be good. Having a dodge, again, is something that might be useful, because right now she's at a 7. So I'll at least give her one more dodge. It's not great, but it's a decent start, and an 8 is better than a 7. So I keep looking down. Find, that would be, I think, important for an alchemist to be able to notice things, figure out how to use those potions. So I'll do a 1 there. Find's based off of mind, so that's an 11. So let's see, and I always have to go back and recount just to make sure that I'm putting my 16 points correctly. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 3 more. So being an alchemist, making potions and that, I think that healing would be good. I have a period there, so I need to go through the comma. So again, 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then maybe do get that persuasion. That persuasion, just 1 point. If she needs to try to get some secrets or something from somebody. Actually, I changed my mind, and see, that's what happens sometimes. I change my mind. Evidence analysis, I think, might be a better way to work this character. So let me do evidence analysis. Evidence analysis at a +1. So, just to look, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I've spent my 16 ads. I think that this is a nice core concept for the character. The missile weapon, so that she can hopefully throw things better if she needs to, throw those potions. An intimidation, that is a good interaction attack that could go with her spirit. Actually, no, let's change that. Her mind is also high. So let's make that trick. Maybe she has some alchemy components that she can, throw dust alchemist potions in somebody's eyes, or smoke bombs that she can use, or various things like that. So again, I'm constantly changing. If I come up with a better concept while I'm working, then I do it. And you saw that I've already done it twice. I've changed my mind, which is fine, as I'm trying to work with this character. So I got my 16 points, and now I go and I get my perks. So I'm going to erase those, and this is not going to have mutation. So for perks, definitely getting alchemy, and I get to pick 3 potions. So I will put those here, and here's where you get we're going to get one of the first surprises. So if I look at the Torg Eternity core book, the elixir of enhancement is could be very important, but I have to choose which type I enhance. So a very good one that she could use to either throw another potion or give to somebody who might need or would be useful to boost their stat would be dexterity. So let's give her an elixir of enhancement dexterity. Okay, so that's one. Then let's give her Demon's Breath. That's a good throwing. Small blast area sets things on fire. So Demon's Breath. And now you'll get a treat, a Orrorsh Treat. In the Orrorsh source book, there will be additional potions for the alchemist, and one of those potions is called Liquid Light. And what this does is it's like in a corked bottle, a corked potion, and when you either expose it to air, you can throw it, you can pour out the contents, then the potion becomes very bright. It eliminates all darkness penalties, so that would be really good up against anything that has the Cloak of Darkness ability. And it also counts as natural sunlight, and you can use that to if you throw it, it can affect what appears to be a small blast area, and if something has a weakness to light, to sunlight, then it could hurt it pretty bad. So let's give her these 3 these perks, these 3 potions, and I think that's pretty good. One that's going to help light things up, which is going to be useful, really useful in Orrorsh. The Demon's Breath to explode would be a good way to damage things in a small blast radius anywhere, and the Elixir of Enhancement would be able to enhance herself or others. So I'm going to do that. And then the next thing I'm going to do, which is another Orrorsh treat that you will learn, and I'll go ahead and put the little star next to those, because those are ones that require the world laws. So I'm going to do, it's a Vile Bandolier, and what this does is it you don't gain the ability to know more potions like taking the alchemist or the alchemy perk additional times, but it does give you 3 more additional active potions to their normal maximum. So instead of just having like 1 elixir of enhancement, 1 demon's breath, and 1 liquid light, I could have 6 demon's breaths or 6 elixirs of enhancement, or 2 of each. So this adds 3 potions to the maximum. So that's something that now you know, if this perk doesn't change, that the alchemy can do. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's go back to the core. This elixir of enhancement adds a +2, or dexterity adds a +2. So I'm just going to do that here. And this is a small blast. That is 16 fire. So just kind of to get those quick stats. And then for here, I'll just have that it eliminates darkness penalties. Within 20 meters, so it looks like they capitalize darkness for darkness penalties within 20 meters. I might just do 20 meters. Okay. Maximum. Okay. So now I'm gonna go for the equipment. What equipment should this person, this resourceful alchemist, have? Now the first thing that you're seeing is, you notice she does have this like mechanical arm. So in Orrorsh, the mechanical arm isn't like cyberware or occult tech. It's not something that you need a perk to get. It is just basically it's a magical arm. So it actually has a magic it needs a magic axiom of 14, and it doesn't do anything special exactly. What it does is it's your own strength and your own toughness, so it's equal to whatever you have. But if you take a wound, instead of actually taking it, you can choose to have the arm be destroyed. And if you choose to have the arm be destroyed, then you're either going to have to replace it. It takes a day to repair. And if it takes a second wound, then it's completely destroyed, that you're going to have to buy a new one. But while it's damaged, then anything that would require you to use 2 hands is going to have a penalty. Game Master's Call. So because that is part of the picture, normally this would be 2K, but since it's part of the picture, and I as the creator can kind of get around some of that limitations for the 1,000 funds to start off with, because this being 2,000, I wouldn't get it, so it would make no sense for this character to have that. I'm going to give this to this character for free. So we're going to have that mechanical arm. Again, you don't need to keep track of stats or anything, because it is just going to be it's flat toughness and flat strength, just like the owner. And then I'll give a couple of other Orrorsh items. I won't completely spend all 1,000, because again, I am kind of giving basically doubling the starting equipment by having her start with the mechanical arm. But I think that it is appropriate, but I don't want that to be the only thing. So if I look over here at some things, okay, there's Philosopher's Dust. This is interesting. What this does is I can sprinkle some of this dust in a potion, and then it keeps its potency if somebody else holds it. so it doesn't have to have a direct contact with the creator. So these have a price of 100. So I'm gonna do 2, and this also has a magic 14, and I'm gonna do two of those. And then let's look at one other thing that might help out. Let's do a luck charm. Basically, it can make you immune to 1 setback. And then once it's used, it's gone. So luck charm. And this is also a magic 14. So I think this is a two other things besides the arm. I don't think that that's a big idea or big deal. And again, this character, the portrait has the arm, so I definitely want to give her the arm, but I don't want her only to have the arm. So armor. I'm just going to have her go with no armor, so none. I can't really justify, after giving her that arm that could take up to 2 wounds. Yes, it would destroy the arm and make it difficult, but I can't justify giving even more. So I think that mechanical arm is going to have to be her defense. And then weapons. Also, none. In our unarmed combat, it's going to be strength plus 0, and I believe it was right. It was just a 6, but she's definitely not an up-close combat character. So this is what's going to be on the first page, page 1. Let me see if I can get my spacing. Armor none. Can I do that? Okay, weapons. Perks. Looks like my spacing is a little off, so let's see if I can go to my layout. And then I can move this overview down to the next page. So this is all what's going to show on the actual character sheet part of it. And now I go to the back page, which is where all your descriptions and everything else is. I'll go ahead and I'll do that same for formatting. And I think what happened is on the old one, it was the formatting didn't have anything, but on the new one, it automatically starts with 1. So basically, again, I, as a designer for an archetype, I can't do it like I would if I was at home and I could just write a whole big overview of what's going on. I have to limit it, but also make sure that there's enough. So basically, to be honest, I look at the overview and I highlight all those words and I look at my word count, and it's 68. So 68 words if I look down here. So that's about what I want. Between, say, 60 and 80 words is what I'm going to need. And then just to remind myself, what does overview mean? I read what it was. So the abomination thug was the blasted land has caused many mutations among the northern Russian populace of Europe. Some have gained strength and power of these mutations, becoming abomination thugs. While the mutations give them social stigma, they simply do not care. They take their brute strength and use it to smash anything, blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of like, what is the what was the abomination thug, and now I have to think, what is the resourceful alchemist? So what I'm going to do, just to keep, I won't completely delete that because I might need some inspiration, or I might forget that it was around 70 words, so I can always just highlight it again and compare word count. Again, word count is a lot more important than people might think. So what am I thinking about? I'm thinking this alchemist has a mechanical arm, and it might have been because she blew it off in some alchemical experiment or something. She's definitely going to be somebody who is transformed, because we're staying with that background of being from India, being Indian. So I'm going to kind of take that into account. So when I'm looking at the abomination thug, it's talking about the blasted lands in Russia. So now I'm going to be thinking about a scholar, a scientist of India that transformed into an alchemist. So here, what I'm thinking is that the axiom wash of Orrorsh brought different views of science to India. Some scholars and scientists who transformed began to understand how science and magic could work together in alchemical processes. So to me, that's a kind of a statement that basically you can imagine these scientists and scholars who were in India, and then Orrorsh came and they transformed and became Orrorsh, connected to the Orrorsh reality. But then all of a sudden they started understanding magic, and they were working it with science and using it in alchemical processes. So their studies of the arcane and occult, because alchemy is one of in the occult groups of the arcane and occult, has shown them how to produce potions, elixirs, and other Grecian science. Let's see. Let me go back here. I lost my thought. Their studies of the arcane and occult have shown them how to produce potions, elixirs, and other other physical products. With mystical properties. And then I can highlight and see how close I am. So I'm at 53, so I want about, say, 20, around 20 more words. So I'm going down here. It says they often wear scrap armor, love the wheel, dangerous and deadly melee weapons, danger, alchemical products. Alchemical products are not always stable, and many students of alchemy fall victim to their own experiments. And the one thing, I want to find another word for product, because I put those two. Now, I really sometimes can't, this is an alchemist, so sometimes I have to keep the words, but let me take out physical elixirs. Well, I have potions, elixirs, and similar draughts. Okay, so what do I have here? So I have right at 68. So if I read this now, the Axiom-Wash of Orrorsh brought different views of science to India. Some scholars and scientists who transformed began to understand how science and magic could work together in alchemical processes. Their studies of the arcane and occult have shown them how to produce potions, elixirs, and draughts with mystical properties. Alchemical products are not always stable. Probably need a comma there. And many students of alchemy fall victim to their own experiments. That, to me, it summarizes who this person was a scientist, a scholar who got transformed, who was experimenting, blew off her arm, probably with demon elixir, fire damaged it, replaced it, and this is the character that we have. So I think that it hits everything that I wanted for the overview. So now, tactics. Tactics are how you operate. So, like with the Abomination Thug, it would have been just a brute. You need to get in there and get in fast. Well, with the Alchemist, it's going to be something completely different. So let me just read the one for the brute. Your physical brute, you primarily use your melee weapon skill, but you're definitely not afraid to go hand to hand with your opponents. You want to get up close. Okay. So when it talks about not letting other people persuade. So tactics. You are definitely not melee fighter. You will want to be cautious and plan your moves according to what plays out in battle. Okay, so that sounds good. And let me go again and so I'm looking at around 75 words or so for this one. So a little bit more than the overview. So the thing she's going to do is she wants to be able to plan her moves according to what plays out in battle. So if you or an ally needs an enhancement to dexterity, you will want to use one of your enhancements, or one of your potions for that. If you are in the dark or come across horrors of Orrorsh, and let me make sure, what, liquid light, I think is what that was called. Liquid light. Liquid light will come in handy. Use your demon's breath elixir to engulf a small group of threats, being sure that your allies are not within the blast radius. And then you can also use your ability to trick an opponent to aid in an allies, in your allies, in your actions, or to the detriment of your foes. So basically using trick for stymie and vulnerable. So you are definitely not a melee fighter. You will want to be cautious and plan your, and this tactics I always look as, if you're a brand new player and you're given this sheet, you can read this and you can understand what your role in a group is and what you should be trying to do. Instead of trying to run up and attack things, you'll realize that your demon breath, you need to, with the small blast radius, it's helpful, but make sure that your allies aren't there. With your enhancement to dex, you can increase yourself, or you can give it to an ally to increase. And then with the liquid light, what it can either brighten up things or it can affect horrors of Orrorsh. And then your trick is your main interaction attack, so don't forget that. So if I do that, that's 110. So it's a little bit more than the 75, but I think that will be okay. It's still, I might need to shorten something. As you see, it kind of goes over. And I have used this pretty decently to make sure that it doesn't go over. So I might have to come back here and cut some things or condense it. So let's go with the moment of crisis. So here I'm looking at 62, and probably the moment of crisis I can let's see, that is what would have transformed her, what would have made her maybe make some potions or something. So let's make this character a scientist in a lab that some horror of Orrorsh came, and she was able to fight it off using some transformed scientific things, maybe some experiment that she was doing, and she threw it at a horror or a creature of the night and did that. So I'm kind of thinking along that line. So you were a scientist in India at a well-known laboratory. Well-known is it gets a hyphen in there. Orrorsh came. Creature of the dark. Attacked you in your lab on the night of Screams. That's the name of that first night when Orrorsh hit and the horrors came out. Out of instinct, you grabbed an experimental solution you were working on. You instinctively felt a strange energy flow from you into the vial. Oh, let's actually put flask to the flask. You hurled it at the creature, and it exploded, killing it, but taking your arm with it, or losing your arm in the explosion as well. You've spent the time since then pursuing. Is there an E supposed to be in here? Pursuing? Nope. Sometimes I can't spell, so pursuing this new science. So this might actually be a little long too. 82. Sometimes they just get a lot longer. 82, 62. So I'm going to go ahead and take out that. Get to the quote. So it's something. So let's see, potions. I like to start with a bang. Just something silly, funny, whatever. Okay, so description. If I can keep my description and agenda a little bit shorter, I think that the tactics and moment I won't have to short. Okay, so her description. Well, let's see. She did have gray hair, so she is a little bit elderly, so... Or middle-aged. Middle-aged Indian woman who wears traditional... Wears a traditional outfit with an obvious mechanical arm. And again, the description is just that, so I don't think it needs to be too much for there. And then agenda. So you are focused in creating potions of various effects to help in the fight against the horrors of Orrorsh. And with that, keeping kind of the agenda and description a little bit down, I think then that the tactics and moments of crisis kind of work a little bit better. Now for names. So the first name is going to be that top name. Whoops, I didn't want to cut that. I wanted to copy it. Oh, well, I can paste that back. So some of these will have last names, other ones won't. Usually I try to do a couple with last names and then the rest with just first names. And because it doesn't have to be this specific person, then I will add male and female names. And again, I'll probably add maybe a Victorian English name, because it also doesn't necessarily must be the archetype doesn't have to be used as someone from India. But that's going to be the majority. So I'll probably have two, one male, one female name for the for Victorians, and the rest be kind of Hindu names. So let me go back up here to my names where I can grab some names. And let's just, this one is separated by, this isn't necessarily a specific site I recommend, it's just the first one that tended to have a lot of names that I can look at. And some of these almost look like they're not, but I did choose, you can choose by ethnicity. And I'm pretty sure I did use Hindu. I'm not sure why it's letting me. Oh. Hindi. So there we go. Hindi baby names. Art. Okay. So why isn't it? Oh, it's only having certain ones. I see. I might have named that other character different then. So let me change that name to Aja or Aya. I'm not sure exactly if that would be a J or a Y sound, because apparently there aren't many on this name. I was thinking that once I hit these it would be anything, but again, I always adjust if need to. So Aya. Okay, and now I can pick a couple of other names. Oops. So this one I like, this Nevadita. Navidita. Now let's get a couple of male names. Are there not? Oh, there's no male names. Indian, does this have any? Okay. Let's go with Amar. Alright, I got an A, so let's try something else. Deshad. Deshad, I kind of like that. Deshad. Now I'll throw in a Victorian name, so I'm just going to go Jonathan. Then I'll have another female name, Kavita. I like that. And then I'll go with a female English name, Elizabeth. Oops. And then I'll do a male name, and I'll add a last name to this one. So, Madhukar. So let's make his first name Madhukar. And then let's look at some last names. Bot. Let's go with that. And let me make sure that that was BH. Yes, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names. 4 from India, 2 Victorian, half male, half female. That gives a lot of, I think that gives a good round type thing. And then they want about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so advancements. Up that. Make sure that the other ones that I did were about those. 1, 2, 3, 8. Yeah, 8 advancements. Okay, so at 5, we might want to do another perk. So a perk that I kind of like, I think it's the Occultist. At least 2 ads in Scholar, and I think she already has the 2 ads in Scholar. Scholar is 2. And what that is if they fight supernatural evil creatures, they can make that scholar check, and then that test, and then they can choose cards and keep one. So I think that's kind of cool. So let's go with the Cultist on that. That's going to be 5. It looks like 7. That might be a second one. Maybe give the alchemy again, and then she can pick another potion to use, and then that would grant also another potion. Alchemy. Okay, alchemy. Is that what I wrote up here? Did they... Yeah, alchemy. Okay, I just want to make sure I wrote it right. And then here we're going to do some skills. So I don't have to keep these things. So if I look at some of her other skills, we might want to get that melee weapon up one more, just to help at least get her a 10, or that missile weapons at least get a 10. So let's make that a, I think it was 3. I think it was at a 2 before is what I wanted. So let's get that to a 3. So missile weapons a 3. Then there's some other things that might be good. I did have that thought of having persuasion so that she can talk and get stuff, or maybe streetwise to find stuff. So let's just go streetwise. We can put a point in this streetwise for the advancement track. Streetwise to 1. Let's do evidence and analysis and find. Both of those are kind of good. First, let's do the scholar, so she can use that alchemist a bit better. So scholar to 3, so that's going to be 3 points. And then, whoops. Actually, what evidence analysis to 2 and find 2. So each one of those is going to cost 2. So to 2, find 2, and then I never did get that one there. Let's go ahead and do dodge. Actually, was hers at a 2? Nope, was that a 1? Dodge to 2. Okay, so there we go. Advancement track, occultist, then alchemy, missile weapons to 3, streetwise to 1, scholar to 3, evidence analysis to 2, find to 2, dodge to 2. We have the Orrorsh Archetypes overview for the resourceful alchemist. 7 charisma, 7 dex, mind 10, spirit 10, strength 6, movement of 7, run of 21, total toughness is still the 6 because there was no armor. If I go down 1, that shouldn't do anything. Combat skills, I should keep those separate and then just bring these up. Missile weapons, trick, dodge, evidence analysis, find, healing, reality, science, scholar, alchemy, and that vile bandolier, the mechanical arm, philosopher's dust, 2 of those, and the luck charm, no armor, no weapons. So her unarmed combat is going to show up as at strength plus 0. Overview, tactics, moment of crisis, everything else. So that is how I make archetypes for Torg Eternity. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would like to play this archetype. I think it's a very doable archetype that has lots of potential, and I'm pretty happy with her. So hopefully you agree. And hopefully you've learned a few things, a few Orrorsh treats that I gave you before the book actually comes out. You learned about an extra alchemy potion, the liquid light, an extra perk, the vile bandolier. Finally solved the question about what the mechanical arm is and what it can do, and how much it is actually. And so I think I will go ahead and wrap that up here. So bring her back, the resourceful Alchemist for Torg Eternity as my 7th day of the character creation challenge with a team up with Ulysses Spiel North America to present to you the Orrorsh official archetype, and this is how I created her. So thank you very much, and until next time.